Hello everyone from a beautiful sunny day in paradise. It really is absolutely marvellous today. I'm just having to watch out because there's a Royal Mail van on the wrong side of the road. Always slightly unpredictable, but great excitement today. I'm heading over to the unit to try and get Ellie an MOT, Ellie the 2CV. The GSA is running okay, but there's a niggle list building up. And at the moment, it's probably easier to just swap cars than try and sort out the niggle list. Not that Ellie's without her niggles. There are a few things I need to do before I can go for the MOT this afternoon. One of which is replace some fuel pipe. So I've purchased some fuel pipe from Halfords this morning. It's kind of like going to Argos. You have to go up to the counter and say what you want and they go and get it. So still able to offer a sales service. So thank you, Halfords. I quite often complain bitterly about Halfords, usually when it comes to prices, but nonetheless they do offer a service I need most of the time, so I'm grateful for that. Another issue we're definitely going to have is the near side indicator is a pain in the backside and keeps packing up, so I need to try and fix that. I reckon the headlamp alignment will be out because I've been mucking about with the front end, but we can sort that on the MOT. That's not a difficult one to sort out. Might have done it last year, but otherwise I think she'll be okay. I'll check the handbrake. I might need to tweak the handbrake up. The handbrake is not a good point on the disc brake 2CVs. Very easily goes out of adjustment. Oh, pardon me, traveling too soon after breakfast. So yeah, the handbrake might be an issue, but I've got the tools somewhere. I should be able to remedy that, I hope. A bit difficult really because I haven't unpacked at the unit, so trying to find stuff is a nightmare. And of course it's a mixture of my personal effects as well as just garagey stuff, so that makes life more difficult. But nonetheless, we shall get to the unit and I shall set to doing some work. Well, here we are back at the unit again. Much the same as it ever was. There's a few things I'd like to address before I get underway. Someone spotted this puddle down here in a previous video and wondered if the brakes were leaking. I think that's a historic puddle. I probably partook over here at some point or something. I don't think that's Foxhand's brake fluid. Certainly if I feel around the back of the wheel, it's all dry as a bone behind there, so that's encouraging. Some people have asked about getting this pair out. I can't promise it, but if we have time today, the MOT is 2 o'clock on Ellie, then I will get these two out and get them running just to get the fluid circulating, allow them to get up to temperature, because it's not brilliant for them sitting here. It's not very good for the tyres. It'd be good to give them move. That has already run since I got back, a couple of times in fact. Tuck has obviously been out for a blast but still has door issues, so she's probably not coming out today. But Ellie is indeed the main focus. I didn't put a cover on her last time because I didn't expect to be away for quite so long. So we've got to change the fuel pipe, which is down here. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see this. I haven't got a torch with me at the moment, but it's that bit of pipe there. Specifically this curve has got a bit of cracking on it, and if I was a sensible MOT man I wouldn't pass it, so we'll get her out. Not sure the order to do things. I don't know whether to get her running and then do it, or maybe it's better now because the fuel might have drained out, potentially. I find this modern fuel just seems to evaporate ever so quickly. Even the GSA, if I leave the GSA parked up for more than a couple of days, it's churning and churning and churning until it starts again. And it may be there's a non-return valve that's knackered somewhere. Maybe it needs a non-return valve fitting, but nonetheless that's what I'm going to do. I think I'll just roll Ellie back and start on the fuel line, then we'll get onto the electrics and everything once I can get her running and make sure she's charged and all is well. So I shall first of all move her. Right, come on little girl. let me grab a light and show you a bit more about what's going on down here. I think I must be mistaken, because that pipe looks okay. It's just splitting the other side of the clip, which perhaps isn't ideal. But I can see that fuel filter appears to be empty at the moment, which confirms my suspicions that the fuel does just drain back when these cars are not used. Yeah, bone dry pretty much. A little bit in the bottom there. Have a look under here, you can see the track rod adjusters that were fitted by Burton in the Netherlands. And new kingpin fitted by Rick Pembroke, very famous in 2CV circles, so we'll need to do some greasing before the MOT. Incidentally, that splatter up there is just where I've over greased this middle gaiter. That's a sliding drive shaft joint, and it just flings the grease around. But let's have a look at the, I just want to see the engine side of that fuel pipe. Oh yeah, that's not looking happy. Okay, that we definitely need to do something about. Annoyingly, that means we're going to have to drop the fuel pump, which is always a bit of a fun job on these, but not too bad. I'll show you why. Yeah, that round thing down the bottom of this hose is the fuel pump, and it's held in by two 11mm headed 7mm threaded bolts, and as you can see, the access is a little exciting, but you can get down there. Important thing to remember is there is a spacer on the bottom of this fuel pump. I once bent the push rod that activates the fuel pump because I forgot to put the spacer in. That was a long time ago, and I'm sure Ellie has forgiven me for doing that. I'll have a look at the oil while we're in here. Yep, on top mark, looking fairly clean. Did I do an oil change when I got back? How does the oil filter look? Not at all. Okay, maybe I didn't. Maybe she was just losing that much oil. But that's what's happened. But if we go over here, I think that's Ellie's doing there. So she's still leaking oil a bit, but I don't think it'll be enough to fail an MOT, thankfully. Right, I need to grab probably multiple extensions to enable me to get the fuel pump out. Yeah. Here we go then. Try and find the 11mm. There's one of them. There we go. Oh, that wasn't very tight. Almost feels like a HubNut had done it up. Surely not. That would have been one of the jobs we did when we rebuilt the engine, was swapping the fuel pump back over. But we would have done that before fitting quite so much of the other stuff. It's more of a fiddle for sure. Yeah, that's free now, I think. Oh, yep. And dropped. Perfect. Magnetic stick time. A massive thank you to Mike at this stage for giving me a load of tools last year, which includes this most excellent pickup stick. This is one of those jobs where you kind of just have to admit you're going to need one, because yeah, it's like angling down there. There we go. This is bolting the nut on one side. Get the other one done. I'm sure we'll be able to pull the pump out. I've already freed the pipe work, I just didn't film that because it's a bit difficult. Filming here isn't always easy. You can probably hear a diesel engine running in the background. I'm not alone at this site, and that does lead to difficulty, especially when they're blaring out Radio 1 at various times, or blocking my entrance because they assume I'm not going to be here. It is true, I am an infrequent visitor, but a visitor to my unit nonetheless. But that's okay, no harm was done. We've got in, we're doing the work. All should hopefully be good. There we go, let's see if we can get this one out. I want the pickup stick again. I don't know how keel surgeon feels. There's that bolt. I'll try and rescue that washer before it goes missing. There we go. So in theory, I should now be able to pull the pump free. Ah. Now I've undone the filter on the wrong end. That's not going to pull through, is it? Idiot. There's a really rusty hose clip down there. I was hoping not to deal with, but yeah, I'm going to have to deal with it. Right, let's see how we're getting on. Various disturbances today, including the music, if you can call it that. I'm now old enough to think that Radio 1 doesn't play anything called music. But yeah, the disturbance kind of is one issue why I need to move unit. Really? Oh, Ellie, why are you dribbling engine oil down my wrist? How rude. There we go. Got the filter out. Now, it does have a little bit of petrol in it, but that was actually fitted before the Croatia trip. That should now mean, if I bring you back up with me, so I can pull the pump out. Come on. Why aren't you coming? There we go. Now I've got the pump out, and I have to get the pump out because you can't access this lower screw otherwise, so we'll get that off and we can get the replacement bit of fuel pipe on. This piece looks okay, so I don't think I'm going to replace that. Obviously with all old cars, especially as more ethanol is added to fuel, it's very important to keep an eye on these pipes, and yeah, that one's definitely seen better days, so we'll get that off. I'll do that now, while you're here even, if I can find the screwdriver. Tools do have a habit of going missing, don't they? There we go. See if any fuel comes out the pump. Not a sausage, I think that is bone dry. So I'll take that clip off. I'll take this bottom clip off as well. Might replace the bottom clip because that's quite rusty, although it is still working. And now you can really see that pipe is splitting up there, and very much, oh yeah, look at that. I hope it's focusing on that. I can't actually see what's on the screen at the moment, but yeah, not before time, I would say. Right, we've got the new bit of pipe on, and now I've got to try and thread it down here, get the pump back on. I've just noticed the spacer. Let's bring you in, see if I can show you the spacer. You see the spacer down there? Can you? I'm trying to look at the screen and see if I can see it myself. No, I need to get you more around. There we go. So down there you can just see the black spacer, just level with the power button, slightly off place, and you can just see the push rod sticking through as well. So I'm going to line up that as best I can, probably fit the bolts to the pump, and then try and lower it down, which will be all the good times. Sorry, that was not very good filming again, but trying my best in difficult circumstances. Lots of noise going on, which is really distracting and annoying. So stage one, probably to use a magnetic stick. Just use that because the base is plastic. I can just nudge it a bit more where it needs to be. Grand. Get the bolts on the washer. It should have shake-proof washers really, but I don't seem to have any. So typical HubNut. But they didn't shake themselves loose in 2,000 miles, or 3,000 miles even, of blatting around Croatia. Maybe they'll be alright. I need to thread that bit of pipe down there. That's a fun job this. holding a light that isn't really helping very much at all. I'm going to continue off camera because there may be swears. Right, connected again. Fuel pump's fitted, connected at the carb, still need to refit the fuel filter, but as ever happens, just discovered something else. Yeah, that's ripped off. That's the main mounting point for the alternator, which might explain the weird charging issues I've been having with this car. That's completely knackered. Hopefully I've got something that will enable me to repair that, although the ultimate contingency is to hope there's enough battery to just do the MOT. But nonetheless, finish what you're doing first of all. So we'll get the fuel filter fitted again, which is just down here, and then we'll see if she'll fire up. Well, actually no, I think I need to sort that out before doing that. So it's just one of those things. One job inevitably leads to another when working on old cars, which is what makes it so joyous. But you know what? It's actually been really nice to be here tinkering on a car I know well. He says pouring petrol everywhere. And yeah, made me realise just how much I miss this. Right, I'm going underneath to fit that. You're not coming with me. Now this is potentially a game stopper because this wire, if I cut it back, isn't going to reach then. So I need to replace this wire, or at least let a bit in, but I don't think I've got anything near this gauge. I'm going to go and have a quick look through now, but that might be end of play because got no alternator, got no charging, and that would render further operations to get this car back on the road rather pointless. But nonetheless, I'll have a mooch around and see what I can find. Right, time is running out, so bodgery has had to occur. I don't have any gauge of wire to match that, so I decided to wire in 2 pieces of wire to carry that amount of current. So hopefully these will be up to the job. Otherwise I've got to strip the loom right back to replace that entire wire with wire I haven't got. So if I'm going to make it work today, this is the only way it's going to happen. So I've nicked these off an indicator stalk for an Invercar, wire 2 of them in to carry the current to the alternator, or from the alternator, I guess. Let's hope this works and doesn't catch fire. Adds an extra element of excitement, doesn't it? Frankly, worries me a bit that I need to even say this, but obviously do not try this at home. That is not a fine wiring solution. That is very much emergency, belt and braces. I need to get a solution now with what I have to hand, which is very often the case here in rural Wales, even when more shops are open. But at the moment, lots of places are closed entirely. It's very difficult to get bits. I went to Halfords this morning. That Halfords is, yeah, tens of miles away. So I can't just nip it there, grab the bits and get this done, ready for an MOT this afternoon. We will see if it works. What I'm probably going to do is leave the wires exposed for now, get her running, turn her off, and then just make sure those wires aren't feeling too hot. If they are, then resistance is clearly too high, and I think at that point I'll just have to give up for the day. Might consider getting Myrtle out instead, but nonetheless I'm going to see if we can get her running now. After tea, naturally. Oh, I've missed that noise. See, as soon as the petrol's through, boom, she's away. Right, do some light checking. Wow. Dodgy connection on the switch. But we've got both side lights. Bit of flickering going on. stop for red. Now, I suspect that's just because she's not charging too strongly on tick over. Headlights 2, main beam. Good. Going wrong here, we've got no indicators this side. Got rear indicators but nothing here, so let's check it out. I've got the side repeater. It could be that's a bolt. A little bulb wiggle there as well. Fog light's also not working. That headlight's now packed up as well. Brilliant. Aha. Oh, no. Gotta love French electrics. There we go, better connection there now, that's good. I shall continue my investigations. Well, that turned out to be an easy one. The bulb had fallen out. Hopefully it won't do that before the MOT, but yeah. Side lights there, so we got lights working as per the MOT regulations. That's grand. You can turn the fog light off. Beautiful. We'll give her a few revs and then we'll stop and check those connectors aren't hot. Right, before we go touching stuff like that, we will disconnect the battery. I know, should be tighter than that, but we're testing here. No, that feels okay. Yeah, any heat is just from the exhaust, which happens to be just here. So I'm going to say that's good. I'm going to wrap this up a bit better for now and we'll call that done. Oh, blimey. Let's check other connections are tight. Check that can't fall onto the exhaust. It's getting a bit close. You can see the insulation is starting to melt, so I might wrap another cable tie around that. And then hopefully that'll be good. Oh, there's an important one we haven't done yet. Let's just chuck the battery cable back on again. Perfect. Dreadful music has started up again, but we'll just check she starts happily now. I should say so. And here's an important test. There we go. There we go. Good overlap. No triangle of doom. Would even be hidden by the mirror, but she's good. And the wipers still don't park, by the way, because the parking is broken. So whenever I take my finger off the button, they stop. So I have to manually stop them in the right place, which I'm getting very good at these days. just do a final systems check. So we're at the MOT garage, but obviously COVID-19 being what it is, I can't actually get near the test. Usually I'd go in and sort of walk around the ramp, or at least be in the official waiting area, which tends to be next to the ramp, but I'm having to nervously wait. We've already had a door lock play up. Just one of those annoying things. So we'll have to see how it goes. Well, sadly, it's a fail for Ellie the 2CV, but so I'm driving her back to the unit. It's a bit windy, a bit noisy. Oh, she may be a failure, but she's a very enjoyable failure. So I'm not really sure what happens next. The rear brakes were a failure item. One of the wheel cylinders seems to have broken up slightly on the casing, a bit too close to the thread that screws into it. Not sure what's happened there. That needs sorting out. Oh, someone overtaking a tractor. Fun times. And getting the rear brakes apart on the 2CV, not very easy. You need over 200 pound-foot of torque to tighten the main nut up, and it's a 44mm. So I don't think I'm going to be doing that job myself, unfortunately. Oh, what a day to be alive. Bah! More later. So here is the fail. It's quite a good one, I must admit. The wheel cylinder seems to have fallen apart. So there's not an awful lot holding that brake line in place. It is in place, so that's good. But yeah, that's less than ideal, I would suggest. Well, I think it's fair to say this wasn't the plan. I'm driving home in a 1986 Citroen, but not the one I was meant to be driving home in. Maybe I'd be better off the garage I went to in Llandyssil with this car. Was more than happy to tackle some of the little issues this car's got. What is this car doing? It's getting slower and slower and weaving all over the place. Citroen Nemo van. Yeah, but whatever they're up to, ignore them. Yeah, I'm not sure how to proceed, but you will find out in a future video when I've made a decision and worked out what on earth it is I'm going to do. Oh, now you accelerate. What a strange woman. Anyway, yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to head to the HubNut store for all the delicious goodies. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Hopefully with a bit more success. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Hood.